Well, on behalf of the entire team at Gallop TV, to you, the valued racing fan, wherever you're watching this broadcast, I trust that you're well, you're having a fair week. It is a bumper weekend this Saturday where we are previewing Hollywoodbets Durbanville, where it's a doubleheader. We race alongside Turfentine, two massive race meetings on the go. And nice to welcome back Graham Hawkins into the country. We haven't spoken to him for a while. And I think the best way to introduce Graham this morning, and I've practiced this, so hopefully I get it right. How are you doing, Graham? Ni hao ma.
Ni hao ma, Dees. Yes, it's been a fantastic month in China and Thailand and Hong Kong, visiting Devon over there, Chung Fa Training Center. What a magnificent complex, and touching base with Hong Kong racing again. Went to Sha Tin last week and watched Lau ride a couple of winners. So it's really been fantastic, but now it's back to the grindstone. Very warm in China and Hong Kong, very cold in Cape Town. And tomorrow's race meeting, strong winds are forecast. So it's not going to be a pleasant day out at Hollywoodbets Durbanville, but the racing, the quality of racing, even the maiden plates, the quality, the depth of quality is enough to warm up the soul.
Yeah, we haven't raced here for, I'll call it 2 weeks now with, as Graham mentioned, the inclement weather. But it's really nice to be back at Hollywoodbets Durbanville. And of course, those two feature races that were supposed to be last week Saturday and then moved on to today. We'll have them, and the return of the king, as he's known, Charles Dickens. Race number 1, let's get straight into it, Graham. 10 races on the go, as you mentioned, 12:45, 1,250 meters the trip. This doesn't form part of the exotics, but I'll give you the betting as we put up the field. Horses that are in single figures, Graham. Number 1 is at 7-2, Hollywoodbets. Number 2, 7-2, Graham. That's been punted into 22-10. There is some market support for number 5, Kapsa, that's shortened into 20-1. And then we will go on to number 8 at 6-1, and number 13, Connery, at 7-1. I think the way to start it off, Graham, is, do you have a flyer for us here in race number 1 to bank some cash, or you are more conservative and it's more a trifecta quartet race?
I think it's probably more of a trifecta quartet race, although you could reap the rewards of following the money. It's very much the Oriental Charm form line versus the Sail the Sky form line. Tanango and Lindbergh, they represent the Oriental Charm form line, and King of Spin and the Grey King, they represent the Sail the Sky form line. The money's come for King of Spin. He's drawn well, so he gets the vote to come out on top, so ahead of number 8, the Grey King. So I'm expecting the Sail the Sky form to stand up well against the form of the Oriental Charm races, but you can't ignore Tanango and Lindbergh and a few others with chances, guarding the wall, and Connery, despite their bad draws, got to have a bit of a chance. But let's ride with King of Spin, but perhaps the way to play it is to double float King of Spin and the Grey King in your trifectas quartets, and hope to get off to a winning start.
2 and 8, the principles here, race number 1. But if you want to follow the cash, you follow number 2, King of Spin. So the exotics will begin in race number 2. It'll be the start of the bar pot. 13:15 is when you need to get your bets on. It's a maiden plate and 1,250 meters. Now, this race, Graham, there is lots to work around, and it is a very tricky start to the bar pot. Betting, number 1, Wagug at 7-2. Number 2, Ice Rain. That's attracted some good betting support. Opened up 11-2 on Hollywoodbets, shortened into 7-2. Number 5, 9-2. 7, 9-2. 8 is at 8-1. And then that's it, Graham. But I'll tell you what, I've taken down some betting of some horses here, Graham, that I don't think is not out of it. And number 4 is a 12-1 shot. 9 is a 20-1 shot, and 11 is a 16-1 shot. And I don't think those horses are out of it here in race number 1. It looks like a very tough race, because this could be a form line to follow once we're done with race number 2.
It is a tough start to the bipod, as I mentioned at the top of the show. These maiden plates, everybody's desperate to get onto the track. As you know, the weather's interfered with the racing program to such an extent that there's a bit of a backlog, and we've got some real high-quality maidens running at Hollywoodbets Durbanville over the weekend, and this race is no exception. I do think the money could be right again in race 2. Number 2, Ice Rain, Lots to like about the Daughter of Vercingetorix. Well drawn, second last time by Glee Club, just ahead of number 5, Gimme the Limelight. There's no reason why Ice Rain shouldn't confirm that form. Wagug is an interesting runner representing Highveld form. Now, generally, I believe the Cape form to be stronger than the Highveld form, and I'm going to sit on the fence with number 1, Wagug. It does help, of course, that the Daughter of Rafif is drawn in pole position. $1 Million Girl, you've picked out at a big price. I'm not quite sure why she's so wide in the market, but certainly must be included in trifectas and quartets, along with the improving number 7, Pineapple Mint Green, and number 11, WSB, which is very well named, of course, owned by World Sports Betting and called WSB. Number 13, Night Vigil, is a scratching. First leg of the bipot, I've suggested a place accumulator today because I think some of these races are quite tough. But the bipot, you might just get away with numbers 2 and 5. One of them should run into the first 2, I fancy. But if you're going a little wider, then include numbers 7, 9, and 1.
Yeah, another race that you'll do well to get through the minimum spend in the first leg of the bipot, race number 2. All the best there, trying to narrow down your selections. Race number 3 will be the start of the place accumulator, 1,400 meters. And as Graham has just mentioned, he will be taking a place accumulator for the show, which we'll touch on at the end to see what that perm works out to. But how they're betting here, Graham, I will tell you. Number 3 is at 6 to 1. 4 is at 9 to 2. 7 at 7 to 1. 9 is at 9 to 2. 12 is at 6 to 1, and then the runner that I like here, Graham, and I can't believe the odds of this horse because I watched the run first up, and then I went and watched the replay. 14, Enchanting Choice, is at 7 to 1, but for the draw, that's going to be my top choice in the race. But I think the big question is, are you managing to narrow the spend down in the place accumulator, or are you going wide here in leg 1?
Very wide. Gone 5 horses. I don't like this race at all. 1,000 Kisses has got some form, is well drawn, has some claims, but I'm not sure about the strength of that Lady Renee form. You've picked out number 14, Enchanting Choice. Now, clearly that was a very promising debut, but clearly the draw is a problem. It's interesting that she ran 4th to Trip to Maputo, and it's going to be equally interesting to see whether that form stands up, because if it does, the number 8, Basic Maneuvers, is the wrong price in this race as well. I think she's a double-figure odds and could be the value in the race, along with number 14, Enchanting Choice. But I'm not firm on anything in this race. As I said, I've got 5 horses in the place accumulator. My top choice, because of the draw and the experience, would be number 4, 1,000 Kisses, but without much confidence. But you've got to go, you've got to respect number 7, Sun Spectacular. You've got to respect number 8, Basic Maneuvers, at a big price. Showed good improvement after a rest and over this track and trip, so should confirm that form. Charlene, there and thereabouts, also has claims. Ticket to Vegas, Ella Ricks, they've got bad draws to overcome, as does Enchanting Choice. Suffice to say, 2 a penny, certainly worth a mention from that inside gate. Showed improvement in his last 2 starts. This is wide open. I don't like the race at all, and I'm just trying to make sure that I get through the first leg of the place accumulator.
Well, I'm just reading between the lines, but I'm thinking that Graham Hawkins has included a few here and hoping to double. And if he trebles up, that's a massive bonus. I agree with him at number 8, Basic Maneuvers, who is a blinker strike. And if I like number 14, well, that certainly has to go in at a big price. Start of the pick 6, 14.25, 1,600 meters. Graham mentioned the competitiveness of these maiden plates. Let's have a look at how they're betting in race number 4. Number 2 is at 8 to 1. 3 is at 11 to 2. Now, possibly the right horse in the race after what we saw on debut is number 4, Celtic Chief. That's at 28 to 10. Then on to number 11 at 6 to 1. 12 at 8 to 1. And then I have to respect number 14, Trippy Silk. That's at 5 to 1. But then again, you have that wide draw to overcome. Graham, I think the way I'd like to pose this question to you, and I'll make it simple, the ever-popular Hollywoodbets Punters Challenge competition. What will be your entry in this race for that competition?
Yeah, well, after being a little hesitant hesitant about nailing my colours to the mast in the opening 3 races. Somewhere along the way, you've got to actually make a statement, and I'm making a statement in this race, and I'm in the same book as you are. I do think number 4, Celtic Chief, is going to take a lot of beating, and I'm happy to banker him even in the pick 6. Take my chances. Yes, there are others with claims. Number 2, Montloisier. Number 3, Greenland. Number 12, Second Buyer. Number 14, Trippy Silk. I'm also interested in number 14, Trippy Silk, but they're big fields at Hollywoodbets Durbanville on Saturday, and the draw could be crucial. Luck in running is going to be crucial. Celtic Chief should get the run of the race from that inside gate, and with the benefit of that first run under his belt, I'm expecting him to deliver the goods. So I'm pretty confident that number 4, Celtic Chief, is going to win this, and to answer your question, he will go as my selection in the Hollywoodbets Hunters Challenge, but also as certainly a place accumulator and a bipod banker, but I'm even leaning towards bankering him in the pick 6.
Well, we're getting some confidence. That's what we like on the show. Number 4, Celtic Chief. Graham's given us all the pluses, and of course the negative we know with number 14, Trippy Silk, who he makes the danger if you're looking for cover and you're not too concerned about the draw. Could be the other to include, but Graham likes number 4, Celtic Chief, and that's going to be his play for the exotics. Race number 5, 1600 meters, and here they are betting. This is the start of jackpot 1, by the way, 1500 hours, 3 o'clock sharp. Number 1, Double Olympic, 5 to 1. Then we move along to number 4 at 11 to 2. Number 7, Graham, is at 8 to 1. 10 at 11 to 2, and I've taken down the betting of this horse, and I think it may be because of the draw, Shavut, and he could be a horse that people would be saying, you know, frustrating now to follow. But 14 to 1, Graham, I mean, if this horse does happen to overcome the wide draw with a soft lead, well, he need a lot to go his way. I say a soft lead. He's not a 14 to 1 shot here, Graham, number 15.
Yeah, difficult to back him from that draw. He's got to go forward, and I think with all of these races, given the size of the fields at Hollywoodbets Durbanville, I do think we're going to see the pace on in all of these races. So he's going to have to work hard to get to the front from that wide gate. So I respect the fact that you fancy him. I respect the fact that you think 14 to 1 is valued. Not for me, but I could be wrong, of course. Having said that, this is a nightmare of a race. The betting tells the whole story. Fair Advantage has got the draw. Andre Nell and Corne Orfa, we liked them in the previous race. They've got a couple of really nice runners, Ice Rain also earlier, so they could be a little stable to follow this weekend, the Andre Nell Corne Orfa combination, because they've got some really nice runners. But why won't Rule of Thumb win again? He's a trick. Craig Bantam gets on really well with him. He's again at a big price. He never gets any respect. The 4-year-old son of Royal Mo has always been held in high regard. He went missing for a long time, but now that he's back in form, and he's still of a very, very competitive mark. I mean, he's racing off a 78. He's only gone up 4 pounds for his last win. Fair Advantage, of course, should get closer to him, but Rule of Thumb, I make my top choice again. Respect for No Apologies, number 9, and Prep, number 10, and others that you've got to make notes of is number 1, Double Olympic, well drawn, well on debut, could be anything, and number 2, Incredible. This is one that I wouldn't leave out of my trifectas and quartets. He's reported to be working very well at home. He's got a nice draw, so if you're looking for a bit of a roughie to throw into your trifecta and quartet calculations, don't leave out number 2, Incredible. It's a tough race. You've got to go really wide, but I'm going to make number 7, Rule of Thumb, my first choice, and to confirm that form with number 4, Fair Advantage. But if there was to be a turn-up for the books in this race, D's, I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, that's some good value. That's what we like. 8 to 1, number 7, Rule of Thumb. And even after the show, if that has to arrive in the jackpot or the pick 6, you will drop tickets here in race number 5, considering the odds of this horse. And many will say, can he win 3 in a row? Well, let's see if Graham's on the button here with number 7, Rule of Thumb. Then on to race number 6, 1400 meters, the trip. Progress plate, Graham, for 3-year-olds, and some exciting horses take their place here. One of them is the debutant for the Candice Bass Robinson yard called Jerusalema Rain, trading at 11 to 10. That's horse number 1. 2 at 8 to 1. 4, Slishlui at 9 to 2. I've taken down a betting of this horse, number 6, Hariyaku, because that's trading at 12 to 1, and number 7, Zumi, at 11 to 2. Graham, you made your play earlier on with Celtic Chief. I'm going to make my play for the pick 6 here, and I know that, you know, I possibly could be going in blind. First run for the stable. Don't know how much work has been put in. But I keep going back to the comments that I heard from Aldo Dameo, and it's interesting how, you know, things have worked out that he's ended up with Candice Bass Robinson because he actually won the maiden with this horse, Aldo. I keep going back to that interview when he mentioned he is still a big baby, and he's a horse that you will follow as a 3-year-old once he, you know, just gets to know what the game is. And he hasn't done badly, Graham, as a 2-year-old. The big names are in his form line. Sandringham Summit, of course, main defender, we'll see race. Yeah, what's the time there? I got the book here, 14:45. Yeah, that will be just before this race of Jerusalem Rain, because main defender is fancied in Gauteng in their main event, which is the Joburg Spring Challenge, sponsored by Betway. So, Graham, you know, he's got all the names in his form lines, but the one thing is, you know, I said I'm going in blind because I don't know how well and ready he is for the race, but if he's anywhere near 90%, I say he wins.
Yeah, it's a very interesting run. Of course, he's been transferred to Cape Town. I mean, this is a hell of a progress plate. It's a progress plate Group 1. These are all Guineas candidates. They're aspiring Guineas candidates. All 3-year-olds out of the top draw. He's cracked the inside gate. He's got all the form in the world. As you say, his 2-year-old form was absolutely top class. And I'm sure that Candice Bass Robinson is not going to turn him out if he's not ready to do justice to himself. So I'm in your camp with number 1, Jerusalem Rain. I'm going to back him up with only one horse, and that is number 4, Shlui, who appears to be the pick of the Justin Snaith team. Yes, you marked down Hariyaku. I'd like to see him after his runaway maiden win. I'd like to see him how he goes in this sort of class. Because he won on a very soft track when beating the very limited Ozark by 5 lengths. So for me, in all my permutations, numbers 1 and 4, Jerusalem Rain and Shlui, they will carry my hopes. I'm including Shlui only because I think he's heading in the right direction. I think he's still got plenty of scope for further improvement. I think his best days have yet to come. But in all known form, Jerusalem Rain is the right horse in the race.
Thanks to Graham. Race number 6, 1 horse for cover there, and that's number 4, Shlui. Then on to Jackpot 2, guys. This will be Jackpot 2, so take note, racing fans. 16-10 with a 10-race card. This could be a nice jackpot to end off your day. 1,400 meters stakes. Hollywoodbets Diana Stakes, Group 3. How are they betting, Graham? Number 2, Gimmy's Lassie at 5 to 1. 3, Cala Morietta at 4 to 1. 5, Golden Hostess, that's at 12 to 10. 7, Happy Chance at 3 to 1. The best weighted column does belong to number 5, Happy Hostess. Graham, before you give your assessment, you know, 3-mile association with Dylan Chinsami, and you know, after these horses moved around from the stable of Ashley Fortune, he kept his share in this horse, Cala Morietta, with Ashwin Rellens and Mr. Pillay. I can tell you that the week preceding to this race, I say the week because Michelle Ricks has given her comments, and Richard Fourie was engaged to ride this horse when that race meeting was no more, and of course he's engaged to ride in Gauteng. The word from the stable, and I know they won't mind me saying this, it's all about transparency, is very, very strong for this horse on Saturday, Graham. Number 3, Cala Morietta, and 4 to 1, that looks tremendous value. They're very, very strong, Graham.
Well, that's interesting. She's the only 3-year-old in this year's renewal of the Hollywoodbets Diana Stakes taking on the older horse, because on paper she's got quite a lot to find if the handicappers' assessments are correct, but obviously there's a lot of upside with number 3, Cala Morietta. Golden Hostess does look the pick on all form, on ratings, but she hasn't had a run since July, and of course Cala Morietta falls into the same category, although Golden Hostess's last run was on the 1st of July and Cala Morietta's on the 30th. It could be in Happy Chance's favour that she's had a recent run on the 13th of September. She's no slouch, is Happy Chance. So on paper, this looks like a cut-and-dried affair for Golden Hostess. She's that far clear in the best weighted column, but I suspect that on the track it's going to prove to be a lot closer. Even her stable companions, Who Do You Love and Gimmy's Lassie, are not without chances. But knowing what you know and having shared what you've just shared, Calamoretta has got to be considered a very much alive, along with Golden Hostess and Happy Chance. So perhaps as far as the jackpot and the pick six permutations are concerned, we can narrow it down to numbers 3, 5, and 7 and take a chance and ignore the claims of Who Do You Love and Gimmy's Lassie. So let's go with 3, 5, and 7. It's interesting to see how the 3-year-olds are going to shape up against the more proven and battle-hardened older horses, but the fact that she's in a good space, enjoys the services of Sean Veal, is on a hat-trick, is already a Group 2 winner as a 2-year-old. We've got to afford Calamoretta all the respect in the world. But she does have quite a lot to find with Golden Hostess and Happy Chance, certainly in terms of ratings.
Yeah. If you're working out a match problem in this race and you're using figures, you will not have her in your top 3, number 3, Calamoretta, but it is what it is, and we've given it to you exceptionally well on her work, the way she's come on, and she is a massive runner here in race number 7. On to the 8th race, Hollywoodbets Matcham Stakes, 1,400 meters a trip. This is a Group 3, and it's for a stake of 300,000 Rand. And it's Return of the King, as we've come to know him. But this is how they're betting. Number 1, Give Me a Prince, 7-2. 2, Charles Dickens Graham, 2-10 or 1-5. And then it is Name Your Price with the balance of the runners.
Number 3, Charles Dickens.
Yeah, number 3, Charles Dickens, 2-10 or 1-5, and then Name Your Price with the others. Graham, you know, he's just been a wonderful advert for the game. We know what a superb last season he has. He's an Equus champion. He's just a wonderful horse, and it'll be great to see him start off his engine at Hollywoodbets Durbanville for the season.
Absolutely, we're all looking forward to it. We've had to wait another week. As you say, this race was meant to have taken place last weekend. Weather put paid to that. His record speaks for itself. 10 starts, 8 wins, 2 seconds. So short and sweet. The Matcham Stakes, first number 3, Charles Dickens. Second number 1, Give Me a Prince. You could take your chances around 3rd, 4th, and 5th. I'm glad that After the Rain is in the race because he'll ensure they go a decent clip. That should set it up well for Charles Dickens and Give Me a Prince. Give Me a Prince can't be taken too lightly. I think these days as a 5-year-old now, 1,400 meters could in fact be his best trip. He ran a super race in the Drill Hall Stakes behind Trip of Fortune, running on very strongly at the end. Of course, he himself is a dual Grade 1 winner. And there's only 2 pounds separating them as far as the official handicappers' ratings are concerned. But Charles Dickens has previous course experience. He's won his only start at the course. He's unbeaten over the distance. Give Me a Prince has his first ever run at Hollywoodbets Durbanville, and reading between the lines from the comments emanating from the stables, Charles Dickens is probably ahead of Give Me a Prince in the fitness department, so with a great deal of confidence. Of course, this is not rocket science. He's 1-5 in the betting. Charles Dickens can be safely banked in the Matcham Stakes. If you really, really do want to add in Give Me a Prince, I wouldn't put you off that because he's got all the class in the world. Keegan DeMella rates him the best horse he has ever ridden. Craig Zaki takes over from Keegan DeMella now that DeMella's riding in Hong Kong, and it's going to be interesting to see how Give Me a Prince goes. But they should come home well clear of the balance, 3 from 1, and as I said, take your pick for the minor placings.
Yeah. It is the exacta of the day, and you don't want to take the 1-5. It's too short for you. This is the race where you'll definitely get more than 2-10 if the exacta runs 3-1. It's multiple quartets and trifectas, I suspect, for the majority playing with numbers 3 and 1. How are you going to play it? Are you going 3 and 1? Or Graham suggests you wouldn't be surprised if you go 1-3 by 1-3, but it's all up to you. It's a structure to catch these bets multiple times. Looking forward to this race. Tune in, 16:45. The Hollywoodbets Matcham Stakes over 1,400 meters. We're on to the penultimate race on the card, Graham, and it is a late end to Hollywoodbets Durbanville at 17:20 is race number 9, and I see race number 10. We're just going to have a look at that time, 10-6. But this is over 1,400 meters, Graham, and if we are running in the exotics, your bankers have arrived. We'll see how you're going to close things off here for the place accumulator. Betting number 4 Sugar Mountain 7-1, 5 King Regent at 5-1, 7 It's Raining William at 6-1. They got this horse number 10 Ponte Pietre at 5-2, and then I've taken down the betting for this horse because he was a talking horse as a 3-year-old. His name is Rockpool, and he's trading at 10-1. I'm going to begin with the favorite, Graham, Ponte Pietre, because we know him from KZN. What's very interesting for me is when he won 3 starts back, it was at Hollywoodbets Greyville. And now Keegan DeMello said this fella needs gelding. But Dean Kannemeyer didn't persevere, and for a horse that was in desperate need of gelding and winning those races, in fact 4 races, now that he's gelded, how much more to come, Graham? How much more to come to a horse that still did so much because he was so playful, and of course whatever comes with him in racing, needing gelding, but still to win 4 races. How much more to come from a horse, Graham? There could be plenty more.
Yeah, they've always held him in very high regard, and clearly there's plenty more to come from Ponte Pietre. He's a very interesting runner. He's drawn a little wide. He's had one previous start at Hollywoodbets Durbanville. Now, how's this for timing? That was on the 19th of October last year, so pretty much exactly a year ago, Ponte Pietre won at Hollywoodbets Durbanville over this track and trip. He could need a run. It is his first run as a gelding. He hasn't raced since July. He does take on stronger here. There's no doubt. This is going to be a test for him. I've actually played to beat him. I must be honest. I've gone against number 10, Ponte Pietre, in my strategy. You'll see I've got forces in the place accumulator, and I haven't included him. But that being said, the fact that he's being gelded could make a vast difference, although he's shown plenty of ability already. I'm just wondering whether these days, I know he's won twice over 1,400 meters. In fact, he's unbeaten over 1,400 meters. But the way he won over 1,950 meters in his most recent outing, which was back in July, suggests to me that that's very much at the bottom end of his range. And so I'm looking at horses like Sugar Mountain, who's won 5 from 7 over this distance. I'm looking at a horse like King Regent, who's bounced back to a very good win over Double Superlative last time. And that was over 12.50 at Durbanville. You'll love the 1,400. I'm looking at Sugar Mountain and King Regent. I'm looking at Scalini at a big price from a good draw with a low weight. And then this horse that interests me still, although he disappointed badly last time, from a hopeless draw, number 14, We Can Go All Night. He's got a powerful burst. He's only a one-time winner at this course from 3 starts, and he's got the worst of the draw to overcome. He's going to be a mile back turning for home, but he'll be motoring through them at the end. So it's an interesting race. You're entitled to be in the camp of Ponte Pietre, but I'm looking to sideline him. I'm going with some value with number 4, Sugar Mountain, and 5, King Regent as my top 2 choices, D's.
Okay, numbers 4 and 5 going with fitness as well. I mean, that could be a big factor when structuring your bets throughout this meeting. And this horse, number 5, King Regent, in the fitness department, he showed his well-being last time out. Well, Sugar Mountain's been off for 3 months, and the horse that I like, we'll call it 2.5 months. First run as a gelding. Looks like a difficult race if you are playing to beat the favorite, and it happens for you here. Race number 9 to close things off in the exotics, unless you really like something. Race number 10, Graham. So the place accumulator has been caught by Graham Hawkins, and now he wants to increase that profit in race number 10. Let's see how he's going to do it. 1,250 meters is the distance. Number 1, USA's Hope, is at 11-2. Number 3 is at 11-2. 7 is at 7-1. 9 at 8-1. Still waiting for a jockey there on horse number 9. 10 Felskun, that's at 5-1. And then the most interesting runner of the all, I think, is this 3-year-old son of Captain of All, Mio Capitano, from the stable of Piet Steyn. That's trading at 9-2. Scratched here is 16. That's the one reserve runner that I got from the declarations that I took down early on Friday morning. Graham, what you make of this horse number 11, Mio Capitano?
Yeah, he's obviously very nice horse. He's won 2 races on the soft going down the straight at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth. He's got an awkward draw. He's unexposed, really. How good is he? This race will give us a better idea because it's a tough race. It's a very competitive race. These sprint races in Cape Town, these Class 3 handicaps can be very competitive. This is no exception. So, yes, I respect him, but I'm rowing in with the proven course and distance specialist, number 10, Falscoon, who's only marginally better drawn than number 11, Mo Capitano. He's had 3 starts over track and trip for a win in 2 seconds, and I think he's a real nice horse. He's Falscoon. I think we're going to see a lot more of him as a 5-year-old. I know he's taken a long time to mature. He's clearly had some of his issues. He's very lightly raced, but I have no doubt there's a lot of ability there. Number 1, USA's Hope. Could need this run. He hasn't run since the 16th of July. We know that Caname likes to bring them back a little slowly, but he's cracked the inside draw, which could be pivotal in the race. So I respect USA's Hope. It's a tough end to Jackpot 2. This is the last leg of Jackpot 2, and I think you do need to go wide. USA's Hope would be my second choice, but you've got to include number 2, Monumental, number 3, Gimme Lightning, number 7, Seal Maurice has got to go in, as does, I've mentioned, number 10, Falscoon. You've mentioned number 11, Mo Capitano. And even number 12, Charlie Croker, could be a bit of a roughie in the race. It could deliver at big odds. So it's a tough end to a good day's racing. It's a high-quality day's racing, a race meeting that I'm really looking forward to. But I'm going to be having a go at Falscoon.
Falscoon for Graham in race number 10. Before we close off, Graham, let's go through your exotic bets, and you mentioned it throughout the show that you are concentrating on the place accumulator, which is up on screen.
Yeah, well, it's a 200 Rand perm, and as you can see, there are 2 legs that have gone as wide as 5 horses, including the first leg. We have included numbers 4, 7, 8, 9, and 14. That's 1,000 Kisses, Sun Spectacular, Basic Maneuvers, Charlene, and Your Fancy, number 14, Enchanting Choice, who's got to overcome the draw. Then we bank a number 4, Celtic Chief. I'm really strong on this one, as strong as one can be on a very competitive day's racing. Race 5, I think, is horrific in terms of trying to narrow it down, so I'm going with numbers 1, Double Olympic, number 2, Incredible, number 4, Fair Advantage. My top choice does remain the inform number 7, Rule of Thumb, could complete the hat-trick, and then number 10, Prevalence. Then just 1 and 4, we discussed this race, a high-quality progress plate for aspiring Guineas candidates, number 1, Jerusalem Rain, and number 4, Shlushlui. Then I'm bankering number 5, Golden Hostess. I respect the fact that you've told us that Calamoretta is strong and well, but I'm expecting Golden Hostess at the very least to finish in the top 3. Then banker number 3, Charles Dickens. And we close out with 4 in the last leg with a potential for upsets. Number 1, Scalini at a big price. Number 4, Sugar Mountain, 5, King Regent. And 14, We Can Go All Night. I think Rockpool's going to need the run. And I'm sitting on the fence with Ponte Pietra, but if you've got 4 in the last leg of the PA, you might as well go 5. So if you want to add number 10, Ponte Pietra, then by all means do so. But that's the make and shape of my place accumulator for Hollywoodbets Durbanville.
And as we close the Hollywoodbets Durbanville race meeting, the Gallop TV preview show, I'm sure Graham will just like to have a word. It has just come in, the passing of a gentleman that we know as the Oracle, Matthew Lips. And Graham, a sad Friday morning when we're recording the show, and condolences to his family.
I was sad and shocked to learn early this morning of Matthew's passing. He passed away, I believe, in Wentworth Hospital. He has not been well in recent months, and you know, just 2 months ago we said goodbye to Jay August, who was one of the great brains in South African racing. Not many people knew of him. He sat behind the scenes, did Jay, and he passed away in August. And now here in October, one of the great characters of South African racing, and certainly a man who had a great passion and a great knowledge of South African racing. Very sad to learn of the passing of Matthew Lips, and like you, condolences to friends and family.
Thank you, Graham. Thank you for your time, and welcome back to the country, and all the best if you are going to be racing at Hollywoodbets Durbanville. We say goodbye to Graham and thank him for his time. On behalf of the Gallop TV team, myself, D. Stein, and you have a blast. Find all the winners. Hopefully it turns out to be a wonderful day for you if you're racing at Hollywoodbets Durbanville. And until we meet again, you take care. Salani Kaasle.